Stealth is a real-time tactic puzzle. Welcome to episode 12 of the 5 T's of Stealth, where we will be discussing stealth. Once again, the 5 T's include tasks, terrain, tools, threats, and tension. These are what I consider to be the fundamentals of stealth gaming. The objective of stealth is to collect all 3 stars spread out within each level, which will then unlock an exit that you need to escape through. Sometimes that exit is right in front of you, and sometimes, on larger maps, it takes over 30 seconds to get to, which can be excruciating. There are 100 levels, but personally, after completing the first 30, I could not go on. The Steam page says something about rescuing hostages within some levels and more interesting things to come. But within the first 30, it was only ever stars, then bail. As you progress, each level becomes larger and more complex with additional paths and shapes. Each map has the same visual style with a blue background and white lines or shapes making up the cover. A lot of the maps as you progress seem to be empty, and it begins to feel like wasted space as there are no items or enemies in some areas of each map. As a simple yellow dot, your options are quite limited. You have 2 abilities that each require a gem to be acquired first. Gems are scattered randomly throughout each stage. Your 2 options are then A. Reveal the pathing of your enemies for a short time, or B. Zoom out to see more of the map. There is a stealth takedown system in place, but it can be rather finicky and frustrating. To perform a stealth takedown, you must stand close to an enemy. At this time, a bar will appear over their head and slowly empty. Once it runs out, the enemy will turn from a black dot to a red dot, signifying they have been eliminated. Once an enemy is eliminated, you can drag them around the map to hide them. Last but not least, there is a sound bomb. These, once again, can be found throughout the map, but seem to have the same spawns every time. You can place these wherever you want, and after 5 seconds, a circle will extend with the bomb at the center of it, and any enemy within range of said circle will be drawn to the location of the bomb. Once again, keep in mind that I only completed the first 30 levels, and more tools could have become available later on. Throughout the first 30 levels, I only came across what I regularly call basic or standard enemies. These enemies are black dots with a vision cone. If you even barely graze the vision cone, these enemies will lock onto you instantly and begin to pursue. Escaping from there is difficult, but not impossible. These enemies are faster than you, but sometimes I found I could shake them off my trail by quickly turning a corner. Enemies are also alerted by dead bodies, and will move to investigate the corpse before then wandering around the map in a frantic search. Typically, enemies have a set movement pattern, but once alerted by dead bodies, that pattern is not returned to. When being chased, it felt like the enemies would actually catch you from pretty far away. I would think I was in the clear and then still lose and have to restart. Another threat that I believe only occurred one time within the first 30 levels was smaller white dots that did not wander, but acted like security cameras and would alert the enemies if you grazed their vision cones. It's not exactly a surprise, but stealth becomes more and more difficult as the game progresses. At first, I found maneuvering around the map, avoiding detection, to have a decent amount of tension, but as I continued to play and progress further, it all started to become a drag. The repetitive nature of this game really starts to add up, as even the more difficult levels feel very similar to the basic beginner levels. The game really fails to evolve, aside from adding size. A bigger map does not make the gameplay more compelling. It simply means levels will take longer, and failing, which will force a restart, will become more and more frustrating. I think one major aspect I have not mentioned enough is the stealth takedown system. This is a fundamental part of the genre in most games. Here, it sucks. It really, truly sucks. Your only way to eliminate an enemy is to closely follow them and wait for a timer. I don't mind the timer, truly. A lot of stealth games have a quieter assassination option that takes more time, but usually locks the enemy in place. But in this game, you have no impact on your enemy until they are eliminated. I can't tell you how many times I failed missions due to a sudden turn, or because I'm walking against the enemy and somehow slip into their vision. I'm not saying it needs to be an instant elimination, but at least allow me to stop their movement. It really got on my nerves watching the timer repeatedly restart while trying not to get too close to slip into their view, but also staying close enough to be within range. I will say, I actually quite like the minimalist approach this game takes. I have no issue with all the characters being moving dots. It's simple and effective. I liked stealth for the first handful of missions, but I felt my enjoyment continue to drop as I progressed further. And for that reason, as I mentioned, I quit playing after 30 levels. This is the first game in the review series that I've dropped, and I think it goes without saying, but I clearly cannot recommend stealth.